Today, we're gonna talk about the basics of this, skydiving. I think everybody has a basic idea of what skydiving is about. You take a plane like this, you get to the door, and you jump out. But I don't think people probably realize what the sport of skydiving is all about. Everything that a skydiver might think about. But that's what we're gonna talk about today. The first thing you do when you get to a drop zone is you want to make sure your gear is in good working order. And that starts, of course, with your rig. Alright, these things are really simple. You got a main canopy down here. You have a reserve canopy in case something goes wrong up here. And you have a couple of handles. This is how you deploy your main canopy. And this handle is how you deploy your reserve in case you need it. And then this one, in case your main gets all tangled up, you can cut it away. This is your cutaway handle. And of course, you gotta make sure you know what altitude you're at. So I wear an altimeter on my wrist, like this. And I also have one that's in my helmet so that it beeps in my ear when I get to about 4,500 feet. Because you don't want to deploy too late. And skydiving is actually pretty safe, and just to make my point, you see this little device? That is an automatic activation device. As long as you turn it on, if you are falling at a terminal velocity at, for me, 1,000 feet, it will actually release your reserve canopy, which is pretty nice. Now to the plane. You're gonna pile in this thing pretty tight. Once you get in, you put on a seatbelt. Sounds a little counterintuitive maybe, but taking off is the most dangerous part. And of course, once you get up to 1,500 feet or so, you have to take it off. And that's because it's pretty dangerous to keep it on. Something went wrong with the plane, you'd want to jump out, right? Pre-jump mentality. A few thousand feet before you get to your jump altitude, everyone starts to get ready. Your helmets go back on, people do a final gear check, and then, this is cool, You give this little hand slap thing. It's like everyone is saying to each other, hey, have a good jump and come back alive. Then the pilot gives the signal to open the door. The jump. This is the fun part. Of course, you have to look down and make sure you see the drop zone. Once you're above it, the first group can jump. And just so you don't jump on top of each other, you wait a few seconds and jump for yourself. But here's the fun part. Since you're gonna jump already, it's kind of fun to crawl outside of the plane and do interesting exits. Like you can crawl out of the plane, let go, you can lock legs with your partner when you're jumping out, you can do a giant train like this, or you can go head down. Really anything you want. Free fall. After you leave the plane, you start accelerating quickly, right? The speed you go through depends on your body position. If you're flying on your belly, you're going at about 120 miles per hour. If you're sit flying, maybe you're closer to about 145 miles per hour. And if you go head down, which is really freaking hard, then you get into speeds of 200 plus miles an hour. Anyhow, the point of free fall is to have fun. Do the moves that you talked about with your partner, and then somewhere around 5,000 feet or so to break away and deploy your parachute. This is an important piece. You have to give yourself distance, or you risk literally running into the other person when you deploy. The canopy ride. And at this stage, it's like a giant math problem. That's the way I see it anyway. You're flying that canopy, but you have to land in one spot into the wind. At this drop zone, I have to only turn left. That's the rules. And I have to make sure I don't run into all the other canopy pilots turning all about as well. You see what I mean? There's a lot to think about. And besides that, the skydive is the safe part. The landing the canopy is the dangerous part. Fortunately, even though the canopies come down at 18 miles per hour or so, the modern designs allow you to flare the canopy and have a nice soft landing every time. Alright, thanks for watching that video. Remember, more videos right here, and of course subscribe to see more. We're putting out a lot of new sports videos on all different types of sports. Okay, see you next time.
Next time. Have you ever heard the saying that if you feel really tired, then you should work out? Well, myth or fact, that's what we're gonna look at today.